Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great event. Before I start my presentation, I wanted to talk about the team. As you can see, Mark is part of the marketing team. He's taking your pictures today, so you can find them on Facebook afterwards. We also have a new team member, Nadia. She's been with us for 6 months now, and she's on a permanent job. And the reason why she's permanent is because we had a lot of business to deal with, thanks to you. Some key events. Last year in September, we reached 300 gigabits of traffic. I don't know if you remember, but last year at the GM, I asked you what was your prognosis for the traffic in June 2015, and you say 400. So this month we reached the peak of 500 gigabits. So as you can see, in just 1 year we had 200 gigabits more of traffic, which is really awesome. In February we organized an event to launch the new POP in digital reality. As you know, digital reality is next door to Equinix. So this was one of the criteria to decide to go and POP this data center. But also in digital reality you can find big accounts and corporates, and this is one segment that we've been trying to really push this year. In March we started using a customer relationship tool inside FranciX, really to get more professional, because over the past 5 years we've been focusing on creating tools like the billing system, or the information system to keep a better track of all your requests. But we see more and more requests, and the lead time to sign new members is getting longer. So now we are using a CRM to make sure that we don't miss anything and we keep on chasing you. And also, as the team is growing, it's really useful to share communications. In April, we hosted the EuroX 26 forum in Marseille, and we were really eager to do that because we were really near to the 5th anniversary. So it was a big statement for us to be able to host a meeting and show to the other ISPs that yes, after 5 years we are on to them. So it was a nice event with more than 120 people attending from 75 ISPs, I think, if I well remember. And in May, we organized a press tour in Marseille, specifically with English-speaking journalists. I will explain why a bit later, but it's mostly because we are really trying to attract networks from the Middle East, from Africa, as you know, because Marseille is a gateway to these regions. So we organized a big event with journalists, and it did pay off with some good articles and hopefully with new connections in the upcoming months. And finally in June, many of you were there. We celebrated the 5th anniversary in Paris. It's always good to see that after 5 years we are still here, and apparently you are happy about the service because you are still here. So it was a nice time for us to celebrate together. So this year I'm asking you another question. Who do you think will be the 300th connected party? Don't be shy. I see Radu from Coriolis Telecom. Marty? No?
I was scratching.
No guess?
Orange?
I knew somebody would throw. Hopefully. Orange, yes. Already said. Free. And when? Well, this year, hopefully. A bit more data about the membership and its evolution. This year we had 39 new members. It's not a big increase compared to last year. Last year it was 45, sorry. So we added just 4 more to this number. But we noticed a lot of upgrades, and this is why we reached such a good growth with 48% in terms of revenue. We had really a lot more upgrades than compared to last year. And I have to say, this year, even though we had a good growth, we had several people disconnecting, mainly for cash flow reasons. Some went bankrupt, some had some issues and decided they couldn't spend much money on peering. Even though we had really a good year, but I felt like mentioning it because you will see in the stats that we are still below the 300 connected parties, and this is why. In terms of profiles, you will see that in Paris we have really a diverse community, from social network with Google, Twitter, to online media, big companies, more and more of them. As Frank was mentioning, big companies which don't have a business in internet. It could be companies listed on the stock exchange, and they decide to join more and more to access the cloud providers and the CDNs. And we found, yes, a lot of profiles like DNS, CDN, hosting, cloud, data center, email service provider, and so on. So the list is not exhaustive, but it shows how much diverse the community is. In Marseille, it's less of that, but you have to keep in mind that in Marseille we only have 20 members right now, which drags the traffic of 50 gigabits in total. We are still working on making it more diverse. We are pretty hopeful that in the upcoming years we will have potentially gamers, potentially media, because they need a better latency, especially to go to the Middle Eastern operators and African operators. So where do our members come from? I wanted to show this map. The main reason is to show that over the 5 years, we managed to attract an international database, but still we are pretty much a French IXP. We have nearly 70% of the community, which is represented by French-based companies. So it's good because it means that we did our job regarding federating all the networks in France. But it also shows that we have a good margin for the international networks. After France, we have mostly European networks coming from Ireland, UK, Germany, Russia, and also from the Balkans, surprisingly. We had for the first time an operator from Serbia this year. And then you will see from North America, both Canada and the North and the USA. Sorry. But still, you have to keep in mind that sometimes big corporations, big companies, global operators, they register in Ireland or the Netherlands for tax reasons. So even though it's only 6% North America, I'm sure it's a bit bigger. So what do we have in plan for this year? We already had the idea of sending a survey to you and to prospective clients to get a better understanding of your needs nowadays. And our board specifically asked for 2 surveys that will be sent, one in October and the other one 6 months after that. So I really ask you to take the time, 5 to 10 minutes, to complete the survey when we will send it, because it's really useful for us to better understand which services we should implement. For the events, I wanted to just quickly focus on this. Every year we go to the same events. There are some which are major for us, like the FRNOG, of course, but also the Middle East Network Operator Group. We always go to Dubai every year, and we see the results step by step. We also go to European Peering Forum, which is a really great event to meet with the peering managers. And we also have been sponsoring the AFPIF meeting, which changes location every year, but it's always in Africa, because it's the African Peering and Interconnection Forum. And this goes along with our commitment to help IXPs in Africa grow and implement partnerships with such IXPs. This year, I must say that we did go to some new events, like Transnet in Russia. As I was saying when I was talking about the members, we have 3 Russian operators, and they come with 10 gigs. So we feel it's a zone that we should target a bit more. So we are going back to Moscow in December for another event. We went to C4, which is based in the Balkan. Like for FPIF, it changes location, but it's always in the Balkans. And also we went for the first time to the OpenIX Summit. If you want to learn more about it, you can talk to Christian or to Martin Halligan. And for this upcoming year, we will try additional events, because the team is growing, so we can allow more time to go and travel and meet with potential members. So we will try HostingCon in the Netherlands, AfricaCon in Cape Town, South Africa, and we will go also to GTEx Technology Week. That's just a few of them. Regarding communications, over the last 3 years, we've been partnering up with a French PR agency, and we were pretty happy about the results. But this year we decided to focus on the English-speaking media. So we found another agency based in London, and we organized a press tour, but also many phone interviews and face-to-face interviews with journalists, still in the effort of promoting Marseille and getting more operators from Middle East and Africa. Social network. Maybe you've noticed that we increased the momentum on the social networks. We try and make an announcement every day, especially on Twitter. I'm really surprised that today we are not a trending topic, because I see many of you tweeting during the presentation, which is good. We try to make the topics as diverse as possible, not just commercial announcements. We try to push all the technical communications, all the developments like tools.franceix.net or the Looking Glass, recruitment, and so on. So I really encourage you to go and follow us on Twitter or on another channel. We do not have the same name on every channel, but that's because FranceIX on YouTube is a Spanish guitar player, I think, and on Twitter it's a Brazilian guy, so things you don't know about when you start a company. And since this year we have a new cool social network, which is Periscope, and it works with Twitter. And basically we can do live streaming, so small interviews of members or small updates that will be linked directly to our Twitter account. So you can follow us directly on Periscope or just on Twitter. This year we released 5 videos. Some of them were events videos, like the 5th year turning point, or EuroX 26 sum up, and the 5th anniversary celebration. But we also we made a special video for the board, just so you know who is part of the board and what they bring. So, of course, now it's a bit out of date with the new elections, but I would ask you to go and know about the strategy of FranceIX. It was an effort from them to make the video. And also we promoted Marseille with a special offer, still in an effort to push Marseille. What will be new next year? We will start again case studies. So we will focus on other profiles. We already had 5 or 6 case studies. We'll do some more with new profiles. We also we will make announcements in videos and how-to videos that will serve the membership. Additionally to the video, we will have technical how-to guides. So basically the idea is to release a small guide on every newsletter or every 2 newsletters, and at the end of the year we will file them to get to have a real user guide that you can download and do the best practices in terms of networks. Website improvements. Frank mentioned the separation of the member list, so it's visually simpler for you to see who is connected to Paris, who is connected to Marseille, and who is connected to both. So this will be released pretty soon. We will also enhance the frequently asked questions. We will enhance it and make it more dynamic. We will also create a real press room within the website for journalists, so it's easier for them to get the announcement. And last but not least, we will improve this SEO, so we can attract more prospective members. And what you were waiting for, I think. Ta-da! The 100 gig port. As you will see, we really made an effort on the installation fees of the 100 gigabit port. So it's not a bad investment when we start appearing with this type of port. And we also made an effort on the recurring fees, just to try and keep the trends in terms of pricing. We don't want to be more expensive compared to other ISPs, so it will cost 5,500 euros in Paris, and still we keep the logic to have a better price in Marseille with 20% lower, with 5,000 euros. Speaking of Marseille, I really encourage you to take a port if you are undecided. Bear in mind that on the 31st of December this year, we will stop any promotion, any special offer. So it's the right time for you to really sign for an upgrade or a connection there. Because we offer the installation fees, and the recurring cost will be billed as of the 1st of January next year with a new pricing. So really do it. I have some contracts in my back. Price decrease. We will decrease both 1 gig port and 10 gig port. For the 1 gig port, the setup cost will be half the price, half the current price, so just 500 euros. And then we decrease the monthly fees as well. For 200 megabit, it will be 150 euros in Paris. It will be lower in Marseille. And a full 1 gig is 400 in Paris and 360 euros in Marseille. Nadia and myself, we will send, of course, the official papers to your administration, so you can update the PO, the purchase orders, and so on. And for the 10 gig, the setup cost will be 1,000 euros instead of 1,500. And the fees, the monthly fees will also decrease, as you can see. I will not detail all of them, but this will be public information as of the 1st of October on the website, and you will receive the official letter. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I have just one comment about the pricing. If you compare the cost we plan for 100 gig compared to multiple 10 gig, you'll see that globally 100 gig will port is globally the cost of 5 times 10 gig. We did that to encourage people after 4 or 5 times 10 gig to directly go to 100 gig. That's why we wanted to have an attractive price for 100 gig, because at the same time, if you take only 100 gig port, some people say, okay, but I don't have the resiliency I had when I had multiple 10 gig. But then if you have 10 times 10 gig, then you could times 2 times 100 gig for the same price. So you keep your resiliency for the same price you were paying before.
And also, one more point is that this year we really had a lot of upgrades, as I said, and we had members with 10 times 10 gig, 8 times 10 gigs, and so on. So it's really the right time to release the 100 gigabit port, because now we have almost 10 members which could migrate to this type of port, while the year before it wasn't really a need from the membership. Okay, thank you.
You see all the route collectors. I circled France AX. This will actually get a real proper name. Now it just says test something. As you can see, the France AX AS is a very, very short path.
Voit NX domain, c'est-à-dire qu'ils disent que ce nom n'existe pas. 31 server failure. Les deux au milieu avec l'adresse 146.112, c'est une adresse de 600.